Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. Today I'm checking out this new hi-fi turntable system from 1x1. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check them out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music weekly playlists that we put together, and also the Patreon page. Make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So just like any review I do here on the channel, even though I'm selling a product free of charge, I don't let that sway my opinion. I give you my honest take about the product, my pros and cons, and what I think about it. So this hi-fi turntable system from 1x1 is a little bit different than other turntables that you'd get in the under $300 price range because it comes with two bookshelf speakers, which I'm really kind of interested to check out and see the quality of those speakers. But if the turntable is nice and the speakers aren't all that great, that's something easy and pretty cheap to upgrade if you want to do that in the future. But it looks like this turntable's been around since about 2017. There's a little over 2,800 reviews on Amazon, so there's a bunch of reviews to kind of pour over and see what other people are thinking about it. If you go on Amazon, I'll put links down below to 1x1's website and their store on Amazon. Right now, this turntable is going for about $200 online. I think the list price for this one's like $240 though, so still pretty affordable. Yeah, it's in that under 200 price range, so it's kind of competing with a lot of those. There's so many turntables in the under 200 price range that it seems like every month there's another turntable coming out, so it can be kind of hard to kind of sort through the pros and cons on them. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion about this and tell you if I think this is really a good table if you're looking in that under 300 price range. So before I pop this thing open, I can go over some of the features that they've got listed online. So this comes with an iron platter. It does have an adjustable counterweight. It has a Audio-Technica 3600L cartridge, which is kind of a standard basic cartridge, has really good sound. You'll get that same kind of cartridge on a lot of Audio-Technica turntables. And I believe this one is upgradable also. So, if you want to go to something a little higher end, you can do that. It comes, of course, a 33 and 45 RPM control panel, has the two bookshelf speakers. It has a USB jack if you want to digitize your records. It's got a built-in phono preamp. It has Bluetooth connectivity also, so if you want to hook your phone up to it and play some music through the speakers, that's always an option also. So this review is going to have two parts. I'm going to unbox this thing, put it together, kind of tell you what I think the overall look of the turntable looks like and what I think about it. And then I'm also going to hook this thing up, play some records through there, jack up these speakers, and really kind of see what kind of sound I can get out of it. The first thing I really noticed on here is the top of this box. It says renewed vibrations. I don't know if I can get a shot of it here. I had to peel the labels and stuff off there. But the funny thing is, there's a company called Angel's Horn that uses this exact same picture and wording on the top of their boxes also. So I don't know if there's a connection between the two companies, or which I did a review of the Angel's Horn turntable on the channel. I don't know, maybe last year sometime. And I thought that was a really good turntable. So hopefully, if it's a similar kind of quality, hopefully, it'll be another good review. So once you get the box open, it has a box on the top that has the speakers in it, and it's got a listing of all the pieces inside the box. So it says what's in the box: 2 speakers, 1 power adapter, 2 audio cables for speakers, 1 tone arm counterweight, 1 USB cable for PC link, 1 cartridge alignment protractor, 1 anti-skating weight, 1 45 RPM adapter, 1 dry belt, 1 belt hook, and then 1 instruction manual. So it's got a listing on there of what's all included. So in that top box on the side of the styrofoam, you got a bag. It's got your power adapter and your cords in there. The other side has your belt and then the instruction manual in there. So they look like pretty standard bookshelf speakers that it comes with. It's got your speaker wire connections in the back here. Let me see if I can pop this grill off here. Show you the speaker here. It's all. Can't wait to hook this thing up. Like I said, this is the big thing I wanted to see with this turntable system is this right here. See how these speakers really sound with it. Because like I said, if these speakers sound good, it's a pretty decent turntable. Like I said, $200. I think it's going to be a pretty good price for a kind of a starter set up for a lot of people out there. So the turntable itself seemed to be pretty well protected inside the box. You see they used a lot of styrofoam to kind of protect the edges, make sure it didn't get all beat up in transport. So it has just a standard dust cover that comes with it. It's got the 1x1 logo on the cover there. Also has a 1x1 logo platter mat that comes with it. And then the platter itself. I've had issues before, or I thought I would have issues before with other turntables that used an iron platter. Initially I thought you'd get some kind of, kind of vibration through that, because as you can hear, it's got that kind of sound that you'd think you'd get some kind of vibration through. But I was surprised when I've reviewed other turntables with these kind of platters on there. Once you get the platter mat on there, you don't really hear anything, even when you really kind of crank up the sound on it. So, hopefully you get the same kind of dampening with this one. And then the plinth itself feels really sturdy and solid. It's by no means the lightest turntable I've ever picked up, but it feels adequate to really do the job. And then on the back of it, you got your speaker connections, you got your DC, you've got your USB connection if you want to, digitize your records. You've got the phono and line switch there, and then your switch for your plugs for your speakers. So a trick I learned a while ago when you're setting up turntables like this, these belt drive turntables, I put the belt around the sub platter here, and then I gave it 10 to 15 spins to make sure it was spinning even and free of any kind of dragging or anything that's going to disrupt the speed of the turntable. So I saw online that some people in the reviews were saying they were having issues getting the counterweight properly aligned. I would say go through the quick start guide step by step. It ended up being a pretty easy process. I actually had more issues with the anti-skate weight, getting that tied on there than the actual counterweight. But overall, like I said, it looks like a pretty nice turntable. I love the wood look to it. It looks really solid. I can't wait to put a record on this thing and check it out and see how it sounds. So the speaker setup was pretty straightforward. It uses the standard speaker wires that comes with the turntable. I'm not a huge fan of these kind of wires. I wish they would have included, more like a standard RCA jack, But, if that's something that's easy to change later on down the line if you don't like these speakers. You can always upgrade the speakers and update the wires also. So before I put a record on here, I'm going to test the speed, compare it to other turntables in this price range. To do that, I use this nifty little RPM app on my phone. I think it's available on Apple and on Android. And someone recommended on another review that I did to use something to put in the middle of the platter here, so the phone actually spins over the center of the platter and gets a little bit more of an accurate reading. So with this turntable, it's got two different modes. The red light means it's in LP mode. If you hit that mode button again, it flashes blue for Bluetooth. So we want it on red. We want it on the 33 RPM, and then we're going to just hit the play button here. Looks like it gets up to speed pretty quickly. All right, that was a pretty quick test. So I'm going to hit cancel because I don't actually want to save this session here. So we got 33.53. I will say that I ran multiple tests on this turntable, and it was all within, I'd say, 33.45 to 33.55. So all pretty similar to other turntables I've used, whether it's the Audio-Technica LP60, Angel's Horn, just a couple other in that under 300 price range. They all kind of seem to be that plus or minus, within 0.5% or so of 33 1/3. So I also tested my Fluence RT85, and I will say that the Fluence took a little bit longer to get up to speed, whereas this turntable, as you saw in the test, it was a couple of seconds till I got it to that 33 RPM speed. Surprisingly enough, my Fluence took, I would say, a good 10 to 12 seconds to get into that range, but as you can see, it's pretty darn accurate when it comes to speed. So there's two different records I'm going to test this turntable with. First off, Rolling Stones, Go Ahead Soup, probably my favorite Rolling Stones album. And then a little bit of a different kind of style music. I'm going to test The Chronic by Dr. Dre just to kind of see what kind of bass there is in these speakers. So one thing I noticed right away is the platter is not the same size as the record. I know that really doesn't have anything to do with the ability of the turntable to play the record, but it's one of those things where just looks-wise, I just don't like the way it looks. So I guess that is kind of one issue I have with the turntable. Like I said, it's not going to affect playback. It's one of those things where just looking at the turntable, you notice that the record sticks up over top or over the sides of the platter. So I think overall it sounded really good. I turned up, I don't know, probably a little over halfway. Had a really good sound to it. There was no distortion to it. You know, like I said before, the Audio-Technica 3600L cartridge is a really good cartridge. It's really stable. It has a really good consistent sound to it, and that's what I got listening to that. So I'm gonna pop on this Dr. Dre record, kind of see how these little speakers, these bookshelf speakers, do with maybe a little more bass heavy music. Like I said before, I'm just not really thrilled about the way that record hangs over there, but I think, like I said, it doesn't really affect the playability of the turntable. So as you saw, I turned that up pretty loud. There was no distortion to it. Those speakers really handled the bass pretty well. And even with the speakers being as close to the turntable as it is, the bass coming through really didn't affect the playability of the record. There was no reverberation through that iron platter that's underneath there. So really good overall sound. Really the only kind of things I had to say about this turntable is I'm not a fan of the way that the records stick over the platter. Like I said, it really has nothing to do with the way that the record sounds. And maybe using a RCA speaker wire instead of the old traditional speaker wires. You know, small things like that. You know, as far as the turntable itself goes, I'd like to see adjustable feet on the bottom of the turntable. Everyone's playing surface is not always flat, so sometimes there are small adjustments that need to be made to make the turntable nice and level. So it'd be nice to see something like that add to maybe a future model. But overall, I'd say this is a really great turntable in the other under $300 price range. Like I said before, it does have that adjustable tone arm. It's got a really nice Audio-Technica 3600L cartridge to it. It has a really nice overall appearance. The speakers, I think, are a nice bonus for, like I said, if you go on Amazon, it runs about $200 on there. So like I said, in that price range, I think this is a really solid turntable. Of course, with any turntable, I'd like to see how this performs, after a couple of years of really solid, really heavy use, to see if that speed really holds up, to see how the sound quality really holds up in these speakers. So with any kind of record player like this, time will tell how reliable and how sturdy it is. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. That's my review of the hi-fi turntable system from One by One. I think this is actually a pretty good turntable in that under $300 price range. I know there seems to be a lot of them popping up. Seems like every day there's new turntables in that price range. But I think for what you're getting in this system, I think this is a really good deal if you're looking for a really good entry-level turntable, something that's obviously a huge upgrade over like a suitcase player or an all-in-one, something along those lines. But let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. And that's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.